Installing and customizing remote installation services. To quickly cover what we'll be discussing in this presentation, we're going to start with updating Windows 2000 Server, then creating a slipstreamed Windows XP SP2 source to be used by remote installation services. We're going to install remote installation services onto a Windows 2000 server. We'll create post-installation script, create an OEM folder structure for the post-installation along with its source files so that it can be included in the RIS distribution, and we'll obtain Setup Manager, install it, and use it to customize a RIS answer file, which will then customize further in Notepad. And finally, we'll take the results and run through watching our remote installation take place. Hopefully, if you've got a Windows 2000 server in a production environment, having Service Pack 3 isn't going to be an issue for you. The latest Service Pack at this time is Service Pack 4 for Windows 2000 and Windows 2000 Server. And if you have anything less than Service Pack 3, there are known issues in using it to deploy Windows XP images. This probably looks very familiar to you, so I won't bother explaining. We're just basically updating Windows 2000 Server to the latest Service Pack here. The next step we're going to take to prepare here is to get our Windows XP Service Pack 2 source ready to go to provide to remote installation services. So we'll copy the Windows XP CD to the hard drive, download Service Pack 2, and then run the update command to slipstream Service Pack 2 into a combined source that can be used by remote installation services. So to begin with, what we'll do is create a folder. I'll call it XPSP2, even though it's not going to be XPSP2 quite yet. What we're going to do is take the contents of the CD here and drag them all into that new folder. Now, this process here of slipstreaming Service Pack 2 with the original source saves you the step of applying the version of XP you have, be it no Service Pack or Service Pack 1, and then applying Service Pack 2 after the fact. What this process does is it takes the changes of Service Pack 2, it merges that with your original source so that you can get the installation done in one shot. Now, if you have an MSDN subscription, you can probably jump on and get the ISO, but if you don't, this is the process you take. So, once we get the copying done, we go up here to Microsoft's site. I'm downloading Service Pack 2 as an executable. And now I've put that in the XP, or just a SP2 folder. I mean, anywhere is fine, as long as you know where it is. So I'm going to change directories into that folder, and it has a very long file name, so you might want to shorten it just so you don't have to type so much. But the command line here is the Service Pack 2 executable, and then integrate, and then the path to the source files that you copied from the CD. So it's going to extract all the files it needs, merge them together, and then finally confirm that we have indeed created a slipstreamed all-in-one Service Pack 2 source. Regarding the installation of remote installation services itself, you can do this either during the initial installation of the server, or you can do so after the fact, like we're going to do here by going to Add Remove Programs and then Add Remove Windows Components. Now, before you do this, you really need to have a partition dedicated for RIS. It creates what's called a single instance store. And that partition needs to be dedicated to RIS because if you have system files or other files, it's going to be managed as a single instance store, and that's not going to be something you want to have happen. So before you continue or before you even begin, get a drive, get a partition together to be dedicated just for this. And you probably want one with a little bit of space because it's going to have your source files for all your different versions of Windows. So as a single instance store, and due to the fact that you're not going to have a very large number of Windows installations or versions on your network at any one time, you're probably only going to need a couple of gig. So you're not talking about too much, but plan ahead. Alright, so from here within Add Remove Programs, we can go ahead and select additional Windows components, and down here toward the bottom we have Remote Installation Services. Next, and naturally if you don't have the CD source available, you may be prompted to provide it. It'll copy the necessary files for the service and then take us through the installation. It actually requires a reboot of Windows, and when you come back up, you get that window there asking you to continue configuring your server. And this takes us through the configuration of RIS. I'm picking D remote install, which is D is my dedicated partition for the single instance store. Now, there's several options here, and it's all very well documented, but the part I really want to focus on is getting it going here. I'm putting a network UNC path to where I have my XP SP2 source that we slipstreamed earlier. You'll have to change the name here because Windows 2000 focused. We have to go ahead and change a lot of things because it's not really made to handle Windows XP, but it's certainly capable of it as we're showing here. The key thing is you can't apply that service pack to your XP source on a 2000 machine, of course. So you have to do it on XP and then share that location with RIS over the network here. So here they summarize.